Hi there, Christopher here. Here's an update to the savings account case study that I'd like to get your feedback on. So this is the current page that's live on the website right now. Explains in very good detail with good rationale here about why multi-key setup is appropriate for the savings account, a wallet where people keep larger amounts of money. And they would use a multi-key setup, one cloud key, one key on the device, and one hardware device to make transactions and manage their funds. Then this image here is a link to the Figma file, to the prototype, Figma prototype, where people can click through and try out the experience. We have a few more considerations, and then we see the screens for the onboarding experience, so a designer can go through each one and better understand how this is set up. And then there are a few additional case study resources. So the biggest fundamental change that this update makes is that the key that's managed by the wallet provider is not only used for recovery, but also for signing transactions that are below certain limits. So if I just want to send $10, I can automatically get those signed. But if I want to send 1,000, then I would need to get my hardware device out to sign it manually. The second thing is a visual update to use the Wallet UI kit and also pulling in more of those those screens into the page so people don't have to go to Figma for everything. So here's what it looks like. The cover image now that shows, okay, there are 3 different keys. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on. Then instead of having one big block of text, the visuals and the text are now more interspersed. So the prototype here is already advertised pretty much at the top here. Then we go into the rationale for the private key management. Copy was a little bit updated to talk about how the third key is used also for auto signing. Then the onboarding experience pretty much as before generally, but all the designs here were revised. So if we can go through them real quick, I have a Bitcoin wallet here. When I press create a wallet, it tells me that I'm getting started here and that I will need one signing device and I'm creating 3 keys. So all of those things are to let me know what I need what I'm about to do and what I need before I can even get this done. So I don't end up, halfway through the flow and getting stuck. Then a PIN here. This is used to encrypt the data. I'm curious if there are other methods to encrypt the data that do not rely on a PIN, or whether the PIN is a good thing to have. Then shows me the order of the keys. Key 1 on this device, key 2 on my signing device, key 3 is the auto signer. Takes me through the cloud backup of key 1, where I can choose which provider I want to use. Then there's a storage provider specific flow that really depends on whether you choose iCloud or Drive, or maybe there's Dropbox or something else, not sure. Then it tells me key 1 is backed up, and something important here is that it's not just the key is backed up, but there's also, it's backed up with instructions for recovering the funds in case the user loses access to this device. This is not mocked up here on this page yet. We can also add this. Then onto key 2, where I can choose from a list of supported devices, and each device will take me through a different flow that explains to me in detail about what I need to do. So, for example, for a cold card, it tells me I need a Lightning SD card adapter. So the XPub can be copied back and forth between the phone and the cold card. Guides me all the way through, tells me I'm done here. And then it informs me about the key 3, which is managed by the auto signer, and how it works, and that it can automatically sign transactions or approve transactions below certain limits. Maybe I have the option here to adjust them. By default, it could be 100 euros and daily limit of 1,000 euros maybe. And then it tells me my wallet is ready. I can now transfer funds if the wallet supports an exchange, fiat exchange, or something else. That can also be advertised here. And then also some information about what to do in an emergency, like losing access to this device. Okay, cool. Then here is a note that this could be designed in a way that it's more progressive, so a user is not instantly faced with having to set up all 3 keys. Maybe they can set up just a single key, and then once their funds go over a certain amount, then they're prompted potentially to set up the multi-sig setup. But we do have the upgradable account case study, and this is where we can cover that in more detail. Now, showing how small payments work. So I press send, I enter some small amount and an address, and I confirm it, and then it gets sent. Very straightforward. The security here is provided by the auto signer. So if, let's say, my phone gets lost or something happens, I can go to that third-party wallet provider and say, okay, something happened here, do not sign transactions anymore. Which is also not covered here, but something we can explore. Now for large payments, this is where the auto signer will refuse to approve transactions. So when I type in a larger amount that goes beyond my limits, it says here approval via your signing device is required for this amount. I can view my limits if I want to. And then when I click continue, I have to go through the device specific approval process. Again, this is here for Coldcard. And with future wallets, maybe this is just a single tap on a button instead of this complex flow. And then I approve it, send it, similar as before. Now, signing device key recovery. So in this scenario, I've lost access to my signing device. I go to settings, press recover key, say, okay, I lost my signing device key. It tells me that I can recover my funds. I just need to, I'm basically rotating this key from the old signing device to a new signing device. There's a cost involved because basically the funds get swept to a new wallet. User may also need to be informed here that the old addresses can no longer be used. And then there's a device registration flow as before. And then the new wallet is ready. There's probably a little bit waiting time involved, so the funds get transferred to the new wallet. Now, if I lose my cloud storage access, so let's say I do not longer have access to Apple iCloud or Google Drive, then I can also, the process is fairly straightforward. I can create another backup from the key on this device, and I can put it on a different cloud storage provider to a different cloud storage account potentially. I can save it on this device locally, or I can do a manual backup, which then would be probably be some type of seed backup or so, where I manually write things down, and then the flow would be unique. And I think some of these flows we've covered elsewhere in the guide already, so I don't think they necessarily need to be repeated here. Changing spending limits is something user may want to do, and this is something that should not be easy to do just on this device, because if somebody gets a hand of my phone, they just up the limits and transfer all the money to themselves. So the limit change would also need to be authorized by using the signing device. So the change would be signed by that device, sent to the wallet provider, and then they would know this is a legit change by the person who holds the phone and the signing device. And then from now on, then they can enforce those updated limits. And it also involves the device type specific approval flow. And then it lets me know that the limits were updated. And then we have same considerations as before. Now there are a lot of screens on this page. It gets pretty detailed, but I feel like this is a point that we need to get to. Something I did not go into a lot of detail are the technical references. So a lot of these things explain just kind of how it works generally, but it doesn't say, okay, this technique relies on BIP so-and-so or this or that technique. There's probably a lot of extra detail that could be added, but we also need to be careful with not squeezing too much in here. So this is it. Please take a look. Let me know what you think, and any and all feedback here is highly appreciated. Thank you.